I'm Andrea DeMoss.
Stephen Westich.
I'm Monica Gomez.
My name's Austin Farrell.
I found Wheaton my senior year of high school, and I remember thinking there's no possible way I could afford this school.
I did look at the price tag, and I did think I probably can't go here.
You know, you never know what opportunities God will open up to make a place affordable for you to go. And so I decided to continue to pursue it.
I received my acceptance letter and I cried when that day. I remember it perfectly. But then reality struck and I just thought, how am I supposed to pay for that?
A woman in my church said, if you get into Wheaton, they're gonna make a way for you to get through. They're going to find some financial scholarship or loan that's gonna help me get all the way through. And I remember thinking, okay, that's a joke. There's no way.
So I applied and I got 2 letters, memorable letters. One was from the admissions office saying I got in, and I thought that's brilliant. But the more important letter was the one I got from the financial aid department that said, you got in, but you can come.
My dad is a pastor full-time, so we didn't really have the capacity to pay for that. So we started to pray a lot, and I got in contact with the financial aid office.
The people in financial aid, they're so personal with me, and they've sat down with me and talked to my mom and jumped through every hoop with me and assured me that they're gonna help me make it through, that we're gonna figure out whatever angle we can to help me get a Wheaton education and be able to graduate.
I ended up getting enough help from Wheaton to actually attend and go to this school, which was amazing for me. And I'm so happy that I did because of the educational opportunities, the Christian growth opportunities, the world perspective and change in perspective and challenging perspective that I'm experiencing. Wheaton College really seeks to bless its students to experience all it has.
Good evening, everybody, and a happy new year to you and your families. Welcome inside King Arena on a chilly January evening here in Wheaton, Illinois. Alongside Tim Martin, I'm Rusty Lindsay. We're going to heat things up tonight with some CCIW action as Wheaton will face the Pioneers of Carroll University for the first time since 1992. That would have been the last season before the Pioneers left the CCIW, and this their first run back in the conference. Wheaton has had 3 games since their last game here in King Arena. That was an impressive victory over a tough Calvin team. They are 0-3 in those 3 games, Tim. Losses at Alma, who on paper looks good because they are an Elite 8 team from last year, but struggling along this year. And then 2 losses in the D3Hoops.com Classic in Las Vegas by scores of 80-70 against UC Santa Cruz and 79-63 against Hardin-Simmons. We kind of knew at the beginning of this season you'd see a little bit of Jekyll and Hyde from this team. So I think it's probably safe to say these are just learning experiences for a young team that's still continuing to figure out who this team, what their identity is.
I think so, Rusty. I mean, when we left for the break with Wheaton at 5-3, their 3 losses to regionally ranked teams, 2 of those losses at Augie and at Chicago, where we had 3s at the buzzer to win, coming back from down 30 against Chicago to take the lead. So we were feeling great about things. Now they go out west, lose a couple games. Hardin-Simmons certainly looks like a really good team. And with a team without any seniors and really only one player who played a lot last year in Ricky Samuelson, and Luke, of course, got some minutes as well. They are going to be up and down, but this becomes a really big game tonight. You've got to hold serve at home in the conference, and hopefully Wheaton can.
Wheaton's sitting in good position still when you look at the conference race. 1-1 against another 1-1 team tonight in Carroll. The 4 teams atop the conference are all 2-1, so you're within shouting distance. But like you said, this becomes a very big game in the race for the conference, but it also comes against a team that's seen some up and down in their game against Carroll. This is a team that won at North Park, and that's North Park's only loss of the year. Won at Carthage as well. Carthage's only loss of the CCW schedule. But this is a Carroll team that comes in with only a record of 6-5. Or excuse me, that's a loss at Carthage, not a win. So that's a misprint in our notes. But this is a team that can beat the best on any given night, as they've shown. They went on the road and won in the Cracker Box, but can also lay an egg or 2.
Right, I think when they joined the conference, the thought was they're dangerous. They've got some ability. They're going to be fighting for a top 4 spot. I think many thought that. Now, with the inconsistency, maybe they're not a favorite to finish in that top 4. But like you said, I mean, the CCIW is wide open this year. A lot of talent, but you look at a team like North Central with Connor Raridan down. Where are they going to factor in? North Park has been great, but then they lose to Carroll. So it's anybody's game here in the CCIW this year.
We'll give you an update on the CCIW quickly. North Park, Augustana, Carthage, and North Central are all 2-1. They're number 1 in the conference. North Park hosts Carthage tonight at Foster and Kedzie. North Central hosts Augustana. So we're going to keep an eye on the 2 top games from around the conference. The other game going on tonight is in Bloomington, where Illinois Wesleyan will host Matt Nadelhofer in the Big Blue of Millikan University. At this time, we will send it across the floor for the playing of tonight's national anthem and the announcement of tonight's starters with public address announcer Mr. Pugsley over there.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to King Arena on the campus of Wheaton College for tonight's CCIW contest between Carroll University Pioneers and your Wheaton College Thunder. At this time, let's begin. Please rise for playing the national anthem. Here are the starting lineups for tonight's game. First for the visiting Pioneers from Carroll University. Number 3, a 6'1" senior from Heartland, Wisconsin, Kyle Karinen. Number 4, a 6'2" freshman from Lake Zurich, Illinois, Nick Penny. A 6' sophomore from Rice Lake, Wisconsin, number 12, Ben Wittes. A 6'3" junior from South Milwaukee, Wisconsin, number 22, Tanner Zeski. And number 52, a 6'6" sophomore from Elk Grove Village, Illinois, Tyler Ingebrigtsen. The Pioneers are coached by Paul Combs. Here's the starting lineup for your Wheaton College Thunder. Number 1, a 6'1" sophomore from Tyler, Texas, Aston Francis. A 6'3" sophomore from Medina, Ohio, number 2, Luke Peters. A 6'6" sophomore from Flint, Texas, number 5, Trevor Gunter. Number 13, a 6'5" sophomore from Maitland, Florida, Kobe Eichelberger. And number 22, a 6'3" junior from Northfield, Illinois, Ricky Samuelson. The Thunder is coached by Mike Schauer, assisted by John Panner and Kyle Keck. The officials for tonight's game, Rick O'Neill, Dave King, and Rich Driscoll.
So there you have the starting lineups, and a little bit of a change from Wheaton starters out in Las Vegas. They will go with Francis, Peters, Eichelberger, and Samuelson. And that's the same. The change comes in the middle where Trevor Gunter will start instead of Anajuan Spencer, who started the 2 games in Vegas. Carroll will counter with Kyle Kiernan, a 6'1" senior, averaging 16 points a game. Nick Penny, a 6'2" freshman, averaging 7.3. Ben Wittes, a 6' sophomore, averaging 12.7 points a game. Tanner Zeski, a 6'3" swing, will average 15.4. And in the middle, Tyler Ingebrigtsen, a 6'6" sophomore, 10.1 points, 4.6 rebounds a game. And Wheaton wins the tip, moving left to right. They'll be in the white shirts. Carroll with the same colors will be wearing the orange jerseys right to left here as we get started the first game of 2017. Alongside Tim Martin, I'm Rusty Lindsay. Thanks for tuning in here on WTSN. This is Francis, top of the key, drops down to Peters. Peters in the lane, right hand, and that'll get a soft touch off the glass and in.
Again, Peters on the block, a guard posting up. He's so effective down there.
This is a Carroll team that will be one of the few teams Wheaton will be taller than, but they do bring some matchup problems, as North Park saw. There's Samuelson with a steal on a back cut. Wheaton leading 2-0 as Peters rushes into the front court. And drops looking for Gunter, and that's Ingebrigtsen right there. He's the big man out of Elk Grove Village, Illinois. Again, these two teams have not faced each other since the Pioneers left the CCIW in 1992. Wheaton with a winning record against them all time, 39-24, as Ingebrigtsen with a nice move on Gunter in the post.
Well, now you see why Gunter's in the game to guard Ingebrigtsen inside, but so far Ingebrigtsen got good position there and finished.
6'6", 225, a big body in the middle for the Carroll Pioneers. Francis around the screen, deep 3 circle right, and that is money for Aston Francis.
And that's a good sign for Wheaton. Get him going early.
Last game, Francis scored 16 points, but he did it on 16 shots. It's the only time this year he's averaged less than or 1 point or more an attempt, and there's a counter from Tanner Zeski, who hits the 3. And Peters has his pocket picked by Nick Penny. Penny, the freshman, in the fast break, and Peters will draw the foul, but he will send Penny to the free throw line.
Aston Francis there, I mean, he hits that 3 from deep. He's shooting on the year right around, I think, 35%, 38% from 3. But his threes, these are not just your run-of-the-mill threes. These are deep threes, and Francis is an amazing shooter.
So Penny to the free throw line, where he is almost automatic. He's now 24 of 27 on the year at 88%. For a team that shoots just shy of 76% on the team, but the guys that go to the line the most are their leading free throw shooters, which is a good sign for the Pioneers. He makes them both, And Carroll has their first lead of the night here at 7-5. This is a Pioneers team that likes to get up and down. They average 78 points a game. As Eichelberger drives to the basket, swatted out by Ingebrigtsen.
So Carroll really coming out on Wheaton here, really trying to pressure the ball. Kobe felt the pressure, got to the rim that time, but nice help from Ingebrigtsen.
This high ball pressure could bode well for the Thunder. They have some creative guys and slash into the basket, led by Francis, as well as Eichelberger. They switch on Peters as he takes it from Gunter and drives into the lane, looking for Gunter underneath. Francis straight away three ball, hand in his face, front iron no good. And quickly the other way comes Ben Wittes, the sophomore out of Rice Lake, Wisconsin. Ingebrigtsen, kick out three, Penny, and that is good for the Pioneers.
Looks like that's their game plan. Go to Ingebrigtsen inside. Wheaton helps. They collapse on him. They kick out to the shooters.
38.5% on three-point attempts as a team are the Pioneers, and they lead early 10-5. Gunter into the lane, gets away with a push-off, misses it, but Samuelson right there for the putback.
Hey, you don't see Trevor drive a lot. He got in the lane. Ricky heads up offensive rebound there.
10-7 lead for the Pioneers. This is Wittes at the point. Right wing now for Zaski. Zaski, easy drive, and he missed the layup, and Francis, boxing out the 6'6" center, grabs the rebound. Up ahead to Eichelberger, who slows it down in the front court, gets it to Gunter, driving, spinning, and will kick out to Peters. 19 on the shot clock for the Thunder as Luke Peters assesses the defense. Pick and roll here with Gunter. Gets the switch for Ingebrigtsen, driving, another switch, layup up and good for Luke Peters.
Great move from Luke there. He's such a tough matchup because he can post up smaller guards, but the bigger guards, he can take them to the basket just like that.
A patient, probing drive from Peters, and now an offensive foul going to be called against Ingebrigtsen for a moving screen, and here comes the Najuan Spencer into the game. As you see here on the replay, Ingebrigtsen comes up to set the screen, and he is still sticking that leg out. That'll be the turnover. Also, Nick Penny replaced by Mike, that's 34, Ray Pierce, a 6'3" sophomore out of Milwaukee. Also going to see 42, Cale Maupin into the game for the Pioneers. He's going to match up with Spencer. He's going to give up 2 inches on the high-rising Najuan Spencer. We'll see if Wheaton tries to go into the freshman here with a little bit of an advantage against the freshman Maupin. This is Francis on the drive. Step back three out of the corner. Good for Aston Francis.
Such a difficult shot. The step back three from the baseline.
And Francis 2 for his first 3 on the night. That's a great sign for the Thunder. Bounced low and a push against Spencer, who was slow to recover, showed help high, and then got into the body of Maupin. Just could not recover from the hedge off the screen, and there you see him walked right into Maupin. 12-10 lead for the Thunder. They've scored the game's last 7 points. Wittes thought about the three around the screen, and Najuan will show, and now Wittes with a drop back three, and he hits that one. Francis just got caught on the screen.
Yeah, Spencer switched then, and then he gave him too much space for the shot.
That'll be Ray Pierce who will draw the defensive assignment against Peters. Peters drops low to Samuelson, and an easy lay-in for Slick Rick.
Again, Luke getting the penetration. Ricky, great back cut, 2 more points for Wheaton.
Samuelson with a greasy 4 points here early, which you like to see from your sniper. Into the lane, Francis knocks it away twice, but the Pioneers will keep the possession. Pierce driving, kick out Maupin, up top Kiernan. Scoreless here though, he's their leading scorer, and he will draw the foul against Eichelberger before he gets the shot up. Kiernan averaging 16.2 points a game, leading scorer for the Pioneers out of Heartland, Wisconsin. And he got into the body of Eichelberger. Pair of subs checking in. Troy Howitt will replace Zaski. Actually just one sub, Wheaton countering with Zach Quam, as well as Jake Mulligan into the game.
Wheaton going a little smaller here, trying to match up with a quicker Carroll team.
Wittes kicks to the right wing. This is Howitt with his first touch. Howitt along the baseline, and he rims it out. Wheaton fighting for the rebound, and Eichelberger fins off Mulligan to take it away. 5 minutes in here from King-Or-Eaton. 1 point lead for the Thunder. I'm Rusty Lindsay alongside Tim Martin. Thanks for tuning in here. First game of 2017, for both teams. As that was Quam with a back cut, and he will draw the foul. See it here on the replay. Nice pass here from Spencer on a slip screen to Zach Quam.
And you look at Spencer there, 6'8", so athletic. He's got a lot of skill on offense. I'm really impressed with this freshman. And there you saw some nice court vision and a great slip, like you said.
And now we're going to see Spencer Peterson into the game for the first time tonight. Peterson's an interesting prospect for the Thunder, a very good player. Played for the Thunder football team as Ricky out of the corner, no good, and Malagan tracks down the rebound. And with the putback, the left hand is good, and he'll go to the line for one more. You'll see it here on the replay as we finish the book here on Peterson. A very talented prospect, big body, can stretch the floor, but only saw a couple minutes against Santa Cruz, but 17 minutes against Hardin Simmons and finished with 11 points. A very interesting prospect here for the Thunder.
He is. I mean, he brings Wheaton some much-needed bulk, some much-needed size. It's always hard to transition from football to basketball. I think even as a team, it's hard when you add in 2 football players or 3 football players after the season. But Peterson's starting to get his legs under him, and he could be a nice weapon for the Thunder.
Peterson checks in at 6'5" and 230. That's a matchup problem for a guy that can play confidently on the perimeter. 17-13 to lead for the Thunder as that pass intended for Brett Marhenka at the scorer's table is out of bounds, and Wheaton will try to add to their biggest lead of the night here at 7-3 as Kiernan checks back in for Pierce. You will also see the return of Zeski coming back to replace Wittes, who checks out for the first time tonight.
And Wheaton's been very good at home this year. They have a nice win against Platteville. They beat Calvin, won the Leaf Fund Classic. So don't sleep on this Wheaton team here at home, and this is a nice start up 17-13.
It's what you would expect from a young team, is that they are good at home and inconsistent when they're away from King Arena. Quam into the corner for Francis. He's got 6 already. Crossover, step back, he'll try the 3 from the left wing. Front iron, soft roll. That was Peterson skying for the putback and couldn't quite grab it. Ingebrigtsen back into the game, drives on Spencer, and Quam couldn't quite catch it as he went flying out of bounds, and the ball will stay with the Pioneers. 23 on the shot clock and 13:59 on the game clock.
And look at the Wheaton lineup here. 4 players who weren't even on this team last year, and then Quam, who barely played, and yet they're playing so well. Really impressive.
Francis gets a hand on the inbound. Malagan will take it away. Wheaton in transition. Francis thought about the 3, drives past, and he will kick out. Malagan, left wing 3 ball. That is short, and Peterson tried to keep it in bounds, but Malagan also crashing, and only the Pioneers there to collect. Kiernan still scoreless, picked up by Quam. Circle right here as they get the offense in line. Bounce pass to Penny on the right wing, guarded by Peterson. Top for Ingebrigtsen. Back cut Kiernan, and he left Quam in the dust, and an easy lay-in for their leading scorer.
Yeah, Wheaton aggressive there in the passing lane. Lost the back cutter, 2 points for Carroll.
And that's going to be a tall task for Zach Quam to guard the very talented Kyle Kiernan. As here comes Samuelson and Peters back, replacing Malagan, and Quam, also Wittes returning for the Pioneers, who will replace Troy Howitt.
Good minutes for Malagan there, had that offensive rebound, the putback, brought good energy, a steal on the defensive end. You'll love to see that off the bench.
Bounced right into Peters, post up on the baseline. Peters against Penny. Peters spins to the baseline, and a foul against Nick Penny as Luke Peters, we've seen it a couple times now when he really probing the defense when he puts the ball on the floor.
He does, and look how quick he is down there. He can spin either direction, finish with either hand, because you wonder, how is a guy his size that difficult to guard in the post? And his brother was the same way.
Went down awkwardly on the elbow there. You saw him massaging it, trying to get the feeling back in. Driving into the lane, through Ingebrigtsen, but they're going to call it off. Offensive foul against Luke Peters. You'll see it on the replay here. He comes off of Spencer. Looks like the right call.
Yeah, it does. Late call, but the right call.
Peters is second, and that'll quickly bring Malagan right back into the game.
And that's a big play for Wheaton. You lose Luke now, maybe for the rest of the half, for much of the half, and he's our leader. He's our point guard.
So I would expect you see Aston Francis handling the ball a lot more for the remainder of the first half. Wittes, one and done with the dribble. Swings it around the top, and this will be Penny against Peterson. Handoff Ingebrigtsen. That's going to be tough for Spencer because they like to bring Ingebrigtsen all the way out to the perimeter. Wittes down the lane, and a foul on Francis as he was trailing. Had help from Spencer, and that will send Ben Wittes to the free throw line.
Yeah, a lot of ball screens right now from Carroll. Spencer can really change the game at the basket with his help. So you hate to see Aston foul there because he had Spencer coming over. And Najwan Spencer, he's probably one of the best shot blockers we've seen here in a long time.
Wittes hits the first. Eichelberger and Gunter return for Spencer and Peterson. So Wheaton with their starting 5 minus Peters, who has 2 fouls already, and that'll be Jake Mulligan taking his spot with this unit, as both free throws good for Wittes. Carroll's 4 for 4 from the free throw line, and we're tied at 17. Here's 7.5 minutes into the game. Expect this game to go back and forth for most of the way. These are 2 teams on paper who match up very well with each other. Nice pass from Francis to Samuelson, and a backdoor layup for Ricky.
And you see Aston slide over and play point guard so effortlessly. Great vision, great pass, and a great finish.
And that basket goes on the drive for Zaski through the contact from Samuelson, and he will try to give the Pioneers the lead back here. Gunter showed help initially and then kind of cut off Samuelson, keeping up with Zeski. And he will go to the line now, trying to complete the end one.
And you see Carroll's game plan: spread Wheaton out, attack the basket, and now we've got Tyrell Derrick into the game for Wheaton.
You will give Francis a break here with 12:09 left, as this will send Zeski to the line, and he makes the end one. Now one more sub coming in. Ray Pierce will replace Nick Penny. Carroll doesn't go as deep, but they're very similar to Wheaton in the fact that they will sub a lot of bodies in quite a bit. They're not going to go, as you see, Wheaton's gone 11 deep already. Carroll's probably only going to go 8 or 9, but they're going to keep guys fresh. Derrick guarded by Pierce all the way out beyond the three-point line. Right wing now Mulligan, and a foul down low is going to go against Ingebrigtsen.
The Wheaton offense so far, Rusty, they've gotten some good shots. It hasn't been quite as crisp as we're used to, back home after the break. And I think the Carroll pressure has something to do with that.
Correction on the foul, that was Ray Pierce. It was Ingebrigtsen who was the body down low, but Pierce called away from the ball. Loose ball knocked away. Great hustle from Samuelson to get back and keep the possession for the Thunder. Wheaton now with numbers into the front court. Gunter lost the dribble going against Zeski, and that'll be Carroll ball.
Yeah, just a little wild right now on offense. Some careless turnovers, and again, a young team. You're gonna expect that.
Wittes, the sophomore point guard, hands off Kieran, swung to the left side now. Back up top, Howitt off the screen for 3, and that is good. And a timeout taken by Mike Schauer here with 11:31 left in the first half, as the Pioneers, who trailed 17-13, now on a 10-2 run, as we will see the president, Reagan Jones, check into this game for the first time. Reagan started the first 6 games with this Thunder unit, so he's got a lot of experience in the middle. I think what Wheaton's struggling with is they don't have a true post. Carroll does. You've got a couple guys who are used to guarding a true 5, but Ingebrigtsen's out away from the basket in a screen motion offense. It's a lot of work for these centers to get away from the basket where they're comfortable.
Right, Carroll's got shooters, they've got drivers, they're going to spread you out with all 5 players. And then Wheaton's so aggressive defensively as well. You've got to be really good on your rotations. I think a great timeout from Coach Schauer. That 10-2 run for Carroll, relax his team. And Reagan Jones is a guy I think who could really succeed in a game like this. He's a very confident shooter. He can attack, he can shoot the ball well. And Wheaton's going to need some other players to step up. Francis has gotten some threes. We need to get Ricky going and find another shooter here, especially with Luke out probably the rest of the first half.
No subs out of the break. As we get back with Tyrell Derrick on the floor with Samuelson, Gunter. And now Carroll's going to show a 1-3-1 here out of the timeout. I like this move from the Pioneers. Really ambush the Thunder with a change, especially with Francis on the bench. Samuelson back to Derrick. He'll try the 3 from the left wing. Back iron, chased down by Mulligan through contact. Trying to get it into the middle. Skip pass to Mulligan. Back out Samuelson. Thought about the 3. Skip to Derrick. Derrick into the lane. Hard off the backboard, and a foul on the rebound as Gunter got displaced by Zeski. See it here on the replay. Gunter with position, and then a forearm extension from Zeski. That's his first, and now both teams already with 6 fouls, not even at the midway point of the first half. Trying to get it back to Samuelson as Carroll goes back man-to-man on the inbound. Samuelson thought about the 3. He'll drive on Zeski. Finds Gunter. Gunter back to Samuelson along the baseline. Ricky, no good. Gunter the offensive rebound and the putback.
Nice job.
Nice movement from Trevor Gunter, who can provide a lot of that post versatility that Carroll is causing some problems with right now on their end of the floor. 2-point lead for the Pioneers as they swing at left wing, looking for Zeski and working at Samuelson. 22 guarding 22 as Ingebrigtsen. Kick, right wing three for Wittes, no good, and Jones will clean the glass. Gunter on the attack. And a nice move by Trevor Gunter, can't finish, and Derek with the rebound. Kick out, Malegan, right wing, got it! And Carroll now with the timeout.
And just like you called, Russ, this game is going to be a game of swings, a game of momentum. And Jake Malegan there, he's kind of heads up play, making a big three. He's hustling, getting offensive rebounds, and he's really brought Wheaton a nice spark off the bench.
Malegan's not a guy that's going to impress in the point column most nights. He's only averaging half a point a night, but he gets you those effort plays, those extra possessions, and we've seen him be very active in the offensive glass here in the first 10 minutes of this game.
And I don't think Carroll wants to stay in that zone too long. You might see them mix it in, especially with Francis back on the floor when he comes back, because Wheaton is an excellent shooting team. I think Wheaton would be very happy to see Carroll use that zone tonight.
The other thing you like, that quick 5-0 spurt coming with Francis on the bench right now. If you can end up plus while Francis is able to catch his breath, you got to like that if you're Mike Schauer. Handoff to Nick Penny out of the timeout. Back cut onto the game for the first time. Charlie Soule layup blocked by Derek. Gets the ball back. The scramble drill. Wittes straightaway three ball. And Wheaton just couldn't find the shooters.
Right, another back cut hurt Wheaton. Carroll gets in the lane, a kick out for another three.
Both these teams giving up a lot of points as well. Wheaton over 75 points allowed and Carroll at 75 points allowed per game. Samuelson leaves it to Gunter. Back down, double team, kick out Derek. Skip pass to Samuelson. Samuelson driving through contact, can't finish, and Wittes with the rebound. 2-point lead for the Pioneers as Wittes goes right wing for Nick Penny. Got away with a forearm against Samuelson. And now works the screen with Cale Maupin. Maupin, left wing against Gunter. Handoff Kiernan. As Kiernan works against Malegan. Drive for Kiernan, blocked by Malegan. And the rebound by Reagan Jones. And Wheaton now will have numbers coming the other way. Actually a little slow to get up was Jones, and it ends up being a half-court set. As Derek, back cut
nice
to Malegan,
cut.
who lays it up and in.
Malegan again, heads up play. Derek, good read that time. Wheaton ties it up at 26.
Like what you're seeing from Tyrell Derrick here in a couple minutes to spell Aston Francis. Maupin into the corner for Soule. Down low to Maupin against Gunter. Skip pass to the corner. Wittes, pump fake three, and he's fouled by Tyrell Derrick on the closeout. And that will send Carroll to the line where they are perfect on the night.
And that's tough in a game like this. I mean, you have that contact. I mean, it's two hands on him. You have that contact on a lot of drives. Wheaton's got to be solid. You don't want to get in foul trouble here, as we do have some subs for Wheaton.
Quam checks in for Derek. Going to buy Francis some extra minutes here in the first half with Wheaton playing well. Also going to see Peterson return for Gunter as Wittes hits the front end of the 1-and-1. Zeski back into the game for the Pioneers along with Howitt.
You got to give Carroll credit, Rusty. Not only are they spreading Wheaton out on offense, but they're screening well. I mean, their screens are finding targets. They're hitting, they're screening Wheaton hard. With flare screens, back screens, and even ball screens, and that's really been effective.
Quam going to be picked up by Penny full court. Penny at 6'2", going to be a tough defensive matchup for Zach Quam. Quam left wing for Peterson, guarded all the way out, so they've got the scouting report on the shooter Peterson. Ricky, pump fake, drives down the baseline, no good, and the rebound by Troy Howitt. Wittes pushing tempo for the Pioneers, now leading by 2. Maupin cut off by Peterson, checks back out. Wittes and a moving screen against Cale Maupin. So as you say that, the second offensive foul against the Pioneers on a moving screen.
So Francis still staying on the bench, just the one foul, if I'm correct here. Spencer's coming back into the game for Reagan Jones. You know, Ricky they're crowding Ricky on offense, which of course teams are going to do. Ricky's a spectacular shooter, and Ricky's gotten better and better at attacking the rim. That time he missed, but I love the work he's put in on that.
Quam drives it to the left wing as they try to set up Peterson in the post. They bounce it low to the baseline. Peterson going to work in the block. Turnaround 10-footer is short. But there you see it. If you're going to stick a guard on him, they're going to put him down low and work him with that matchup.
Yeah, Spence just has to get a little deeper. He's got to try to get a little closer to the rim and make a little bit stronger move, but I love the play.
Howard around the double screen. Slip screen to the backside. Cut out Zeski. Wittes skips it to Howitt. Howitt for three. No good, and the rebound by Peterson. Just a series of double screens that Carroll kind of runs the slip on the first guy, and it's been very effective. Malagan left wing for Samuelson, guarded by Wittes. And who now switches on to Malagan. Around the back dribble. Back cut for Samuelson, gets it off the deflection, and he's fouled. Nice job by Malagan, the freshman, working through contact and then getting a nice pass that probably didn't deserve to get to its target, but a nice job by Samuelson to collect and go up.
Yeah, that possession, a lot of standing around there. Wheaton probably fortunate, like you said, the rest of that pass got through. But again, Ricky recognizing they're playing him really tight, looks back door, first free throw, good for Ricky Samuelson from New Trier High School.
Ingebrigtsen and Kiernan back into the game for the Pioneers, replacing Howitt and Maupin. This is a Carroll team that has some youth that would rival Wheaton for the youngest in the conference. Kiernan, the only sophomore in the the only senior in the starting five. Zeski only a junior. Ingebrigtsen and Wittes are sophomores. Penny's a freshman. So this is a young Carroll team, also kind of trying to find its way the same way the Thunder are. Back to Zeski, and now Kiernan into the corner. This is Penny against Peterson, nowhere to go, and up top Kiernan with 15 on the shot clock. Left wing Wittes. Here comes Ingebrigtsen with the screen. Wittes, nice defense by Spencer, but a better finish from Ben Wittes.
Yeah, I think fortunate Wittes there to make that shot. I like Spencer in the game right now to guard the rim, to guard the basket, and he forced a tough shot. Wittes made him pay.
Quam almost turns it over. Great hustle to get it to Samuelson. Malagan shot fake down on the drive, and a nice job by Malagan, who has been excellent in the first half.
Yeah, this is the best half of basketball he's played all year.
30-30 our score, just under 6 minutes left first half on a fun half of basketball here at King Arena. Bounced low to Ingebrigtsen. Ingebrigtsen works away from the double team, threw it right to Samuelson. Samuelson has two back. Malagan running on his right. Malagan crossover, looking for help, finds Spencer. Quam left wing. Back to Spencer. Gonna have to make sure we say Peterson with Spencer Peterson and Anajuan Spencer in the game right now. Malagan spinning!
Wow.
And it was knocked away, but a nice move by Malagan.
And you can see the Wheaton bench, Rusty. They're excited for Malagan. The way he's look at this spin here. It's a tight move, a lot of contact.
I think Mike Schauer has a beef there. That contact came through the shoulder of Malagan. As Pierce is back into the game replacing Zeski for the Pioneers. And here comes Peters back into the game. So Mike Schauer's going to roll the dice here, get Samuelson a minute or two while running Luke Peters out there with two fouls.
And that's going to be tough because Carroll is going to drive at Luke, so Luke's got to be smart here. We need him in this game.
It's also a little bit of a move by Mike Schauer where you dare the officials to call the third foul on your starting point guard. Lob into Quam all the way out, a dangerous pass from Peters. Francis works against Wittes on the crossover. Step back, not there. Steps underneath, finds Peters in the corner. Wheaton's a little out of control on offense. Quam ran out of time catching, and that'll be a shot clock violation.
You never got anything going on that possession. 30-30 here, 5:08. You put Francis and Peters back in the game, Rusty. I think you're looking to make a push, see if you can get a lead here going into halftime.
5:08 left, as this will be Penny on the floor with Wittes, Pierce, Ingebrigtsen, and Kiernan for the Pioneers. Wheaton counters with Peters, Francis, Spencer, Peterson, and Quam. Dribble handoff to Pierce. Pierce driving on Francis. Nice job by Francis, who will take the rebound the other direction. Waits for the defense to settle itself. Down the lane, right hand no good, and Ingebrigtsen the rebound. Wittes at the point for the Pioneers. Around the screen from Ingebrigtsen. Handoff to Penny. Penny will try the three ball, and that is good for the Pioneers.
You give them a little bit of an opening at the arc, the Pioneers are going to take it.
Luke at the point as Carroll retakes the lead, 33-30. This is Spencer. He'll try the three ball, and that's good. Your answer comes from the 6'8" freshman, Anajuan Spencer.
You know, I saw Wheaton in the preseason practices, and I noticed Spencer, he has a lot of game on offense. He's got a nice touch. I think we're going to see more of that throughout the year.
Just has to find the confidence to take that shot. Penny, baseline drive around Peterson, and he stepped out of bounds. Wheaton basketball. And here comes a fresh lineup for the Thunder. Derek Samuelson, that looks like Mulligan and Gunter right back into the game, keeping Jay Spencer.
Yeah, so Coach pulling Francis there pretty quick. I mean, Aston made a great play on defense down here. I think that was the big adjustment he had to make coming to Wheaton, playing this man-to-man defense. He's getting better and better on defense. Probably a little bit of force there on offense, so he came out of the game. But Wheaton, I mean, with this lineup, they've got the size advantage on Carroll. You'd like to see them use it.
Tyrell Derrick will run the point again here with Francis on the bench. Inside of 4 minutes left first half. We're tied at 33. Samuelson holding straight away, finds Tyrell Derrick. Guarded by the senior Kiernan. Handoff Mulligan as Carroll switches the screen. 10 on the shot clock. Mulligan gets it to Gunter. Shot clock's at 6. Handoff to Peterson. They're going to have to shoot here. Mulligan, long three. No good off the iron, and a terribly disjointed possession there for the Thunder. Rebound into the game for the first time for the Pioneers is Trey Borland. Sophomore out of Milwaukee, still looking for his first points and rebounds of the season. Actually has his first rebound now as he drives baseline. Kick out from the wing for Ingebrigtsen, no good, tipped out, and Borland sent it out of bounds trying to tip out rebound.
I mean, Rusty, we don't have it in front of us, but if we looked and see how many minutes this group for Wheaton has gotten on the year together, these 5, probably not a lot in game action. So to have some disjointed offensive possessions is not unexpected. Hopefully it'll get better. Tyrell Derrick I think he's looked really good. Brought him a nice spark off the bench. Another ball handler, Jake Mulligan again, having a really nice game. Ricky, we've got to stick with Ricky and try to get him some more looks, and he's playing really hard.
Wittes replaced by Howitt for the Pioneers. The 3-10, Derrick dribbling into the front court. Mulligan on a high post, step back with a left hand, and there's a different look from Mulligan, posting at the free throw line and going to work.
That seems like a really nice area for him to catch the ball on that elbow. Look to attack off that. 2 more for Jake.
Jake Mulligan's got 12 points already here in the first half. Bounced into Ingebrigtsen. Ingebrigtsen is fouled, and he finishes with Gunter coming over the top. And I believe that's 2 on Trevor Gunter.
Yeah, just a screen roll there, Rusty. We got hit by that ball screen late getting back to the roll. And at that point, I think you just got to give him the layup and avoid that foul.
Just the first foul, on Gunter. Team's 8th, both teams with 8. And Ingebrigtsen trying to not to miss the team's first free throw of the night.
Thank you for that.
And does. Sometimes the broadcaster's jinx can work in your favor. Tied at 35, 2:45 left here first half with Tim Martin. I'm Rusty Lindsay. Thanks for tuning in here tonight on WTSN. Spencer holding in the corner, and he traveled. Stepped out to receive the pass and then added another step. And a turnover for the Thunder. Checking back in is Wittes, replacing Trey Borland.
You have to think at some point we're going to get Luke and Aston going in this game. So the fact that Jake Mulligan can chip in 12 already, usually that bodes well in the second half.
Bounce down is running around Wittes off the screens as they swing back to Kiernan. He'll try the 3 in front of the Thunder bench. No good. Strong rebound, Tyrell Derrick. And they're going to push with Samuelson. Samuelson will try the layup. No good, but he's fouled. I think Spencer wanted him to lob it to the rim, but a nice job by Samuelson attacking the body here and going right into Troy Howitt. First foul for Howitt, 9th team foul, and 2 free throws for Ricky Samuelson.
Yeah, I think as Ricky and Anajuan play more, first free throw no good. I think as they play more, he probably would lob that as they get a little more experience together. Because I think, Spencer can get up and he can really throw it down.
First free throw no good, so we remain tied at 35. As Samuelson now breaks the tie with the second free throw. Both teams missing their first free throws of the night on their last trips to the line. 1-point lead for the Thunder as Wittes brings it across the center circle. Spinning around the screen as now they fade Zeski, circle left, and that is good for Tanner Zeski. Just so good at fading those screens.
Right, it was a ball screen, and then he popped it off and kind of flared and made a tough shot.
2-point lead for the Pioneers inside of 2 minutes left first half. Samuelson looking low to Spencer. Now it's there against Ingebrigtsen. Spencer spinning to his left, had it knocked away, no foul call. And now Carroll going to slow it down here, try to use the clock to limit possessions for the Thunder. Now they try that same look, not there off for the 3 ball. Howitt in front of the Thunder bench at the hash. Ingebretson driving on Gunter. Double teamed as Spencer comes over to block it. And now Malagan will slow things down in the front court. Wheaton can go 2 for 1 here if they choose to. Actually, I think they have the 2 for 1 either way. Samuelson finds Spencer. Spencer for 3 again. Same spot and knocks it down.
Man, Jay Spencer, he's good inside. He's got a great touch from the outside. This kid's going to be special.
Now it's Carroll's turn if they want to speed things up to go 2 for 1. High screen from Ingebretson against Wittes. Swung into the corner. Zeski against Samuelson. Kick out Ingebretson. They're running out of time to double up here. Skip to Howitt. Howitt drives on Spencer. Spins into the middle. Blocked by Spencer. And it'll be Gunter. And Mike Schauer saw the clock work perfectly. And they're going to slow things down for the last shot of the half.
And so look, at one end, Spencer makes the 3. The other end, he gets the block. He's really impacting this game.
2 blocks on the last 2 defensive possessions for Najuan Spencer. And Tyrell Derrick waiting inside of 10.
Some 2-3 zone here from Carroll now.
Nice switch here from the Pioneers. Looking to get it to Spencer. It's knocked away. Derrick into the backcourt. Shot clock's down to 2. Kicks it to Samuelson from the hash for 3. No good. And Wheaton will lead by 1 at the intermission on a very entertaining first half here from King Arena.
Really was 2 similar teams, 2 young teams, 2 hungry teams. And I think all in all, with Luke not playing much in that half, Aston Francis not playing much in that half, Wheaton has to feel pretty good going into halftime with the lead.
Love that 2-3 switch there from Carroll there at the end. Just give Wheaton something it had not seen tonight, especially with Francis on the bench. So 1-point lead at recess here for the Thunder. We'll step aside and be back with a look at the first half statistics and a look ahead to the second half. You're watching Wheaton Thunder men's basketball on the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network.
At the heart of the Wheaton College mission are Wheaton College students. The young men and women God has called to our campus for education, apprenticeship, and discipleship. Students whose minds and hearts the living Christ has entrusted us to prepare for kingdom service that transforms the world. Whether they are called to the classroom or the boardroom, whether they serve impoverished communities in Africa or grace the concert halls of Europe, whether they preach from the pulpit or confess Christ in the coffee shop, Wheaton students are at the forefront of Christian leadership, growing families and building communities, using their knowledge and faith in service to the church and the world. Today's Wheaton students stand on the shoulders of many faithful servants who have gone before, a great cloud of witnesses whose testimonies challenge us all to give the love of Jesus Christ to a world with needs that will not wait. Now I invite you to join us in a comprehensive campaign to make every student's Wheaton education more remarkable, more relevant, and more reachable, not only today, but also for generations to come. When you join us in supporting Wheaton's From the Heart for the Kingdom capital campaign, you invest in a liberal arts education that is rare and precious. Together we will build on our commitment to academic excellence, grounded in the person and work of Jesus Christ, carried out in state-of-the-art facilities and encompassing the full spectrum of the arts and sciences. Together, we will empower each student to articulate a clear, biblical, and personal understanding of vocation, providing the tools that kingdom servants need to fulfill their God-given callings. We will expand student access to diverse and deeply enriching learning opportunities on campus and beyond, preparing them to address the complexities of a globally connected world. Together, we will enable students of all social, racial, economic, and geographic backgrounds to flourish by keeping a Wheaton College education affordable and providing not only a warm welcome, but also a true home for every qualified Christian student. Now, more than ever, Wheaton College depends on you, loyal alumni, parents, and friends, to support the capacious vision of learning for all of life that is at the heart of Christian liberal arts education. This rare and precious endeavor requires extraordinary engagement from kingdom-minded Christians who champion Wheaton's mission to prepare young leaders who have a passionate commitment to live from the heart for the kingdom.
I think a lot of today tries to emphasize how much you need to be the individual and how much you need to kind of have your plan set out for you as soon as you reach the end of high school. Vanguard just kind of popped out of nowhere, and the idea of a gap year, spending it in the woods, and I felt like I just needed to take some time away from the kind of rigorous academic world just to kind of recenter myself. I feel like this is probably one of the best decisions I've ever made, was to take a gap year.
For me, going right to college was really kind of a scary thought because I didn't know what I wanted to major in, what I wanted to do. So taking a gap year was a really good chance for me to just grow and mature a little more before going to college.
Once a month we would have professors from Wheaton come up and run a seminar, and those were exploring big questions of faith or big questions that millennials face.
Also, just the Vanguard community itself is really tight, and we became kind of like a family.
I'm very thankful for these people who are willing to push me, but just care for me so deeply, and definitely I think something unique to this place, to Honey Rock, and to Vanguard as a program.
Basically the whole year was one immersion trip, being here in the Northwoods and interacting with the local community here. Another was going to the Dominican Republic.
It was learning and delving deeper into my faith, but without grades and without this pressure that I've always felt to perform. And I think having the opportunity to learn in such an intimate setting has influenced me in a really positive way.
I think what Vanguard does is it helps you to really discover your true potential and help you to kind of define your own calling.
It's a year of your life, yeah, and you might think, oh, this will set me behind all my friends, but it won't. At this stage in life, you're still so young, and there's still so much time to explore the world and to see what you want to study, and you'll have your 4 years of college, but you don't need to rush into that.
The person I am now compared to the person at the beginning is different in a lot of ways, but probably one of the most important ways would just be less anxiety about the future and more of just present-mindedness and openness to what God is doing and what His plan is from here.
Yeah, I definitely think, looking back on it, taking a gap year and doing Vanguard was the best decision of my life.
I'm Andrea DeMoss.
Stephen Westich.
I'm Monica Gomez.
My name's Austin Farrell.
I found Wheaton my senior year of high school, and I remember thinking there's no possible way I could afford this school.
I did look at the price tag, and I did think I probably can't go here.
You know, you never know what opportunities God will open up to make a place affordable for you to go. And so I decided to continue to pursue it.
I received my acceptance letter and I cried when that day. I remember it perfectly. But then reality struck and I just thought, how am I supposed to pay for that?
A woman in my church said, if you get into Wheaton, they're gonna make a way for you to get through. They're going to find some financial scholarship or loan that's gonna help me get all the way through. And I remember thinking, okay, that's a joke. There's no way.
So I applied and I got 2 letters, memorable letters. One was from the admissions office saying I got in. And I thought, that's brilliant. But the more important letter was the one I got from the financial aid department that said, you got in, but you can come.
My dad is a pastor full-time, so we didn't really have the capacity to pay for that. So we started to pray a lot, and I got in contact with the financial aid office.
The people in financial aid, they're so personal with me, and they've sat down with me and talked to my mom and jumped through every hoop with me and assured me that they're gonna help me make it through, that we're gonna figure out whatever angle we can to help me get a Wheaton education and be able to graduate.
I ended up getting enough help from Wheaton to actually attend and go to this school, which was amazing for me. And I'm so happy that I did because of the educational opportunities, the Christian growth opportunities, the world perspective and changing perspective and challenging perspective that I'm experiencing. Wheaton College really seeks to bless its students to experience all it has.
Welcome back here inside King Arena alongside Tim Martin. I'm Rusty Lindsay. Thanks for tuning in into what's been a very entertaining first half of basketball, with Wheaton leading the Carroll Pioneers 39-38. As we look at the first half statistics, Wheaton shooting 50%, Carroll shooting 54%, but the numbers that stick out are the numbers after that. Carroll shooting 63.6%, that's 7 of 11 from 3. That's probably an unsustainable number for the Pioneers. You would look for them to regress back towards their season average of 38%. Wheaton, meanwhile, shooting 45%, 5 of 11. Both teams good at the free throw line. Carroll 7 of 8, Wheaton 4 of 5, out rebounding the Pioneers 17-9, 6-0 on the offensive glass. I think that's something you like, is that Wheaton has really been active on the offensive glass and have held Carroll without second chance points.
They have. I mean, so Wheaton here with this +1 at halftime. Francis plays 9 minutes. Peters plays 10. So 2 of your leaders, your leading scorers, and Francis does have the 2 fouls.
Francis and Peters both playing with, we'll start the second half with 2 fouls. So that'll be the big one, is how do you keep them out of foul trouble? They start with the Wheaton starting 5, Francis, Peters, Eichelberger, Gunter, and Samuelson, and Carroll will counter with their 5 of Penny, Kiernan, along with Wittes, Seski, and Ingebrigtsen. 1-point lead for the Thunder as we switch. Carroll again wearing the visiting orange with the blue lettering, and Wheaton in the home whites with the orange lettering. This is Wittes, works around the screen from Ingebrigtsen, drops off, Ingebrigtsen into the lane, spins to the left hand around Gunter, can't finish, and Peters with a rebound taking it away from Nick Penny. Carroll at 6 and 5, Wheaton at 5 and 6, both teams at 1 and 1 in conference action. Peters dribbling into the middle, still dribbling, finds Eichelberger in the corner. Eichelberger scoreless in the first half. Kick out. This is Gunter from the left elbow, no good, and the rebound from Wittes. Eichelberger averaging just shy of 10 a game, did not attempt a shot, actually 0 for 1 there in the first half. Shot blocked there by Gunter, and Gunter will take it away. That shot by Zeski. And Peters streaking into the front court around Ingebrigtsen to the right hand, and a scoop-in layup for Luke Peters.
Nice control there by Luke on the fast break. Took his time, got to the rim. Wheaton leads by 3.
Worth noting, we abandoned it in the first half, but the Wheaton women's team playing a very important CCIW game at Augustana tonight, leading by 11 at halftime, as both teams 2-0 in the CCIW. Augustana won its first 10 games of the year. Wittes, a nice Euro step into the lane, and Peters was there. An air ball by Wittes, who will throw it away to Samuelson, trying to keep it in bounds.
Wheaton defense much better here to start the second half.
Peters attacking Ingebrigtsen, right back to the right hand, can't get it to go. Gunter can't also get it to go.
Trevor hustling on that play, gave Wheaton a chance. Now fast break for Carroll.
Wittes back out to Penny, and Gunter in the wrong place at the wrong time gets his second foul. Pierce and Maupin coming into the game for the Pioneers, replacing Ingebrigtsen. Along with, we wait for the next one to check out, that's going to be Zeski. 3-point lead for the Thunder. Their largest lead of the half was 4. Carroll's largest lead of the half was 5. Kiernan, their leading scorer, held to just 2 points in the first half. He'll try to add to that, does not. Strong rebound by Samuelson.
The Carroll
now
offense,
1 for 4.
Sorry, Rusty. The Carroll offense was so fluid in the first half, moving the ball side to side. This half, it's really been just one shot, one pass, a lot of isolation, and that bodes well for Wheaton.
Pierce guarding Peters. As Peters lost his dribble, will hand it off to Samuelson. 13 on the shot clock. Samuelson assessing, working against Wittes. Eichelberger in the corner, lost the dribble, kick out Francis. Francis with 5 against Kiernan. Long 3 from the wing, no good, and the rebound to Maupin. Francis is the guy you want probably in that situation. Got a good look, couldn't get it to go. 6 points in the first half for Francis, still playing with 2 fouls. Penny, kick out, Maupin for 3, no good, rebound. The first offensive rebound of the night, and it's grabbed by Penny. Penny with the putback, and good.
Really a tough shot from Penny there. Wheaton has to collect that defensive rebound. That was costly. Immediately Jay Spencer up off the bench.
First offensive rebound, first second chance points for Carroll. Peters, right wing for Francis, guarded by Kiernan. Francis, nice crossover. Finds Eichelberger left wing, thought about the 3. Bounce low to Peters against Ray Pierce. Peters gets the double team from Maupin, skip pass. Driving is Eichelberger, and he's fouled by Nick Penny.
And you mentioned it, Kobe at 10 points a game. Nothing in the first half, but he can do this.
Ricky was 1 pass away and wide open. And you saw Mike Schauer immediately, kind of a little bit of regret. Ricky's got looking for 9, he's got 9 points, but only 1 3-point attempt, and that was at the end of the shot clock.
And usually Wheaton is really good about swinging the ball like that, but still, Kobe got to the rim, got the foul. You want to see him get going. So athletic around the rim. He can really finish over taller defenders.
As Eichelberger hits the first, Penny is replaced by Troy Howitt. As Eichelberger at the line now for the second of 2. Hits the front iron, and the rebound grabbed by Cale Maupin. And now Luke Peters just picked up his 3rd foul. That's a big one there.
That's a huge call there. And see, Luke tried to get out of that. But when you have 2 fouls, you just can't get tangled up like that, and you definitely have to disengage sooner.
So they're going to go with Tyrell Derrick here instead of Peters. So Malagan had a good first half, but I think he wants to keep Aston Francis off the ball right now. So Tyrell Derrick, who was also good in the first half. Here's the motion we're used to seeing from Carroll. Pierce baseline drive around Spencer, and he is fouled on the attempt. Spencer just got caught coming too high here on the motion, and a foul will go against Spencer. That's his 2nd.
Yeah, a little slow there. defending the basket. Wheaton still +2. This Tyrell Derrick really has been impressive. Has not gotten a ton of minutes this year. We haven't seen him here at home a lot, but I'm excited to see him here. He looks really explosive, really good athlete, and I'm excited to see him play some point guard.
First free throw good, second free throw good for Pierce. We're tied again at 42, 16:25 left. Francis drives on Kiernan, pulls up on the baseline, turn around, spinning jumper. What a shot from Aston Francis, and Kiernan kept his hand there like, what do you want me to do?
Right, I mean, Francis, we haven't seen a shooter like that here probably since we've had Kent Raymond. That's an amazing shot, a very difficult shot.
Kiernan thought about the three, drives on Tyrell Derrick, out from Maupin. This is Wittes around the screen, thought about the three, Pierce, and he traveled. Malagan into the game, replacing Derrick, as here you see the turnaround from Francis.
I mean, Francis averaging 22 points a game, his first year at Wheaton. Just one of the very top players in this conference that we're going to see. Is he a Player of the Year candidate? I mean, he'd have to have a really strong finish, but he's definitely, I think, in the conversation for first team All-CCAW, depending on how he does. Obviously, we have a lot of conference games to go.
Second in the conference in scoring, first in the conference in three-pointers and steals.
And he has such great court vision, Rusty. That's the thing. He handles the ball a lot. He doesn't turn it over, and he can find teammates all over the court.
He's a guy that only started one game last year at Tyler Junior College. Well, how good was that team? There's a step back three from Kiernan, no good, and a rebound by Wittes. Up by 2, Pioneers trailing by 2 here as Wittes into the front court. They're trying to get Ingebrigtsen working against an Ajuan Spencer. High screen. Zeski, kick out, Wittes, pump fake three, gets to the elbow, back to Ingebrigtsen against Spencer Peterson, and he finishes.
But that's okay. You have Peterson down there and Ingebrigtsen. Let him guard him one-on-one. If he gets a layup, fine, but don't collapse and give their shooters good looks.
Trevor Gunter waiting to check in at the next dead ball. We're 5 minutes into the second half. It's Malagan, the back cut from Samuelson, and a quick timeout taken from Mike Schauer as Wheaton takes a 2-point lead.
Wheaton looking for back cuts, Wheaton looking to slip screens. 46-40 for Wheaton, 15:02 to go in the second half.
And that's a 30-second timeout, but you love what Wheaton has seen in the back cut game here tonight. It's been Malagan a few times, it's been Samuelson a few times, but it's been very effective against this aggressive defense for Carroll.
And because Wheaton is such a good shooting team, teams are going to crowd Wheaton. Wheaton spreads teams out, so that is going to be effective. And right now, again, you've got Peterson, came over from the football team. He's getting his basketball legs now. I think it usually takes football players, a good month, Rusty, to get their basketball legs. It's just a different sport. And I think he's starting to get that. Francis and Samuelson together right here. Trevor Gunter inside, and then Malagan, who's been just a spark plug off the bench. Interesting lineup and an effective lineup for Wheaton.
Out of the timeout here, you see Gunter into the game, replacing Spencer. Ingebrigtsen working against Gunter, having to take his time to figure it out. Kicked into the corner, Penny for three, and that's good.
And that's what you can't have happen. If we're going to collapse on Ingebrigtsen, we can't leave shooters open. Force him to make a difficult shot. Don't leave a three-point shooter. Now a steal for Ingebrigtsen.
Turnover by Francis, he's back in defense. Slows the break, Kiernan thought about the three. This is a three for Zeski, no good. Rebound, strong rebound by Spencer Peterson. So Wheaton dodges the bullet there as the Pioneers all of a sudden would have been swarming with that three.
And you can see the effect of that having Luke Peters on the bench has for this team. That third foul was a huge play in this game.
Trailing by 1 now, it's Francis. Drives on Kiernan, one and done with the dribble, looking for help, and finds Gunter at the right elbow. 3 on the shot clock, turnaround jumper, Trevor Gunter, no good. And the rebound strong for Ingebrigtsen. Trying to add are the Pioneers in transition. High screen from Ingebrigtsen and a good closeout by Francis before Kiernan could pull the trigger on the three. Ingebrigtsen will draw the foul before the shot. That'll be, I believe, 2 on Trevor Gunter.
Yeah, Trevor's third actually, so more subs for Wheaton. Quam back in, Eichelberger, Reagan Jones. Again, a guy, Reagan Jones, I think Wheaton can get going here. We need one more score between like Reagan and Kobe. Someone to get going in the second half. And then the decision for Coach Schauer, Rusty, is when do you come back with Luke Peters? Maybe the 10-minute mark, maybe sooner, depending on how the game goes.
Inbound comes into Maupin on the baseline. Reagan Jones into the game for Gunter after the third. You also see Zach Quam into the game. Nick Penny up top. Zeski gets it to Wittes, guarded by Quam. 12 guarding 12, and now 22 guarding 22. As Zaski nowhere to go against Samuelson. 10 on the shot clock. High screen. Wittes for three. No good. Rebound. Eichelberger. And a soaring rebound for Kobe. As Wheaton trailing by 1 here. Been a back and forth game. Nobody's led by more than 5. Back cutting Samuelson, and the layup from Reagan Jones.
The president there, Reagan, great vision. Ricky, so good at that back cut. Wheaton leads again.
We told you at the top that this was going to be a back and forth game by two very, very similar teams. And it's proved to play out just like that. Now the back cut to Howitt, and he's fouled by Mulligan, and he finishes. We'll go to the line for one more. Mulligan just lost him away from the ball, and then Reagan Jones actually will be credited for the foul.
Yeah, a little wild there going in there. I mean, at that point, you're beat on the back cut. You maybe just have to let him go. And definitely when you swing your arm down like that, it's an easy call for the officials.
Carroll is 9 of 10 from the free throw line, and Howitt will try to make it 10 of 11 and make it a 2-point lead here for the Pioneers as he tries to complete the 3-point play, and does.
Yeah, very impressed with this Carroll's team, their energy, Rusty. You look at their bench, they've got about 30 guys on that bench. They're into this game, they're excited.
And not sure if we have blood drawn or what, but we slowed it down. And yeah, I think Howitt has blood drawn, excuse me. So we have a play stoppage for that. Luke Peters was waiting to check in.
So there's the decision from Coach Schauer. He's going to come back with Peters now.
Sure enough, has a cut just left of his eye.
They'll give him some time to clean this up and get it, taped up. If you can't, then they're going to have to sub for him. But Luke Peters back, and he's been very effective in his limited minutes. It seems like Carroll really doesn't have anyone to guard him, and that's the thing. Tyler Peters, his brother. Now, it's an unfair comparison, Rusty, to compare anybody to Tyler Peters. He was one of the great Division III basketball players of the last 10 years. Fantastically good. But Luke is a similar type player. Luke is having a breakout year as a sophomore, like his brother. Luke presents matchup problems because he's so good on the block, and he can also drive and attack. And little known fact, Rusty, Luke is 4 for 4 from the three-point line this year, shooting 100%. So Luke back into the game for Wheaton, and he has to stay on the floor. I think that's going to be key. If he can play the rest of this game, Wheaton is going to have a great chance to win.
We mentioned the big games going on around the conference. Augie leading by 7 at North Central. North Park leading by 5 at home against Carthage, as Illinois Wesleyan leads by 7 at home against Milliken. North Park playing its first game ever as a top 10 team.
Yeah, they're turnaround.
Since the D3 Hoops poll came out.
They've got the 5 national champions. I think the last one in '87. But, that's Jordan Robinson, that's Juwan Henry. But again, they're in a tough game tonight. They lost to this Carroll team, so there's no dominant CCAW team.
Samuelson, circle left now, Eichelberger. Bounce down to Jones. Handoff Peters. Peters probing. And we'll bring it back out and reset with 14 on the shot clock. Guarded by Nick Penny. Peters driving. Kick to Samuelson. Open for 3. No good. And Reagan Jones tips it to Eichelberger, and Wheaton's going to get another look.
Nice little play there from Wheaton. They went 4 flat. They got Ricky open for 3. And then way to crash from Kobe and Reagan.
Mulligan bounced into Peters. Posting against Penny. Right hand hook. No good. Jones the rebound, and he's fouled. In amongst the trees, and Reagan Jones, the only white jersey amongst 3 orange jerseys, comes down with it, and he's fouled by Kiernan. Kiernan's third.
That's a big call, Rusty, and Reagan's not played a ton tonight. He looks very fresh. Big play there, and he can get Wheaton back and hopefully tie this game with 2 free throws.
Rolls in the first, so we will see Pierce and Maupin back in for the Pios. And it'll be Francis for Samuelson for Wheaton, and looks like Anajuan Spencer will wait and replace Reagan Jones here after the free throw. but not after Jones ties it at 50 with a pair of charity chucks. And that'll bring in a Najuan Spencer. So on the floor with Eichelberger, Peters, Mulligan, and Francis, it'll be Zaski, Kiernan, who stays on the floor with 3 fouls, Maupin and Penny for the Pioneers. Tied at 50. Here comes that double screen action for the Pios. Penny driving baseline, bounced out to Pierce, and Wheaton's had it defended well. That was the most effective set of the first half for the Pioneers. Pierce down the lane. Left-handed layup is good for Ray Pierce, the sophomore out of Milwaukee.
Wheaton going smaller now, hopefully to contain the drive, but unable to on that play.
Pioneers have athletic builds on the wings. They've got 6'3", 6'3", 6'1". Pierce is 6'3", sophomore out of Milwaukee. Mulligan looking for Francis, tipped away by Penny, but out of bounds in front of the scorer's table with 13 on the shot clock, 10:56 left game clock.
You know, Wheaton's been going to Luke inside on the block. They've gone 4 flat for Luke. Let's see what they draw up here.
Mulligan on a face-up post and hits it. Jake Mulligan's feeling it with 16 points.
They cleared out at the elbow again for Jake. They did that once in the first half, and he just rose up and shot over his man. Big basket.
Mulligan was averaging half a point a game coming into play tonight. Have to do the math there, but he's close to equaling his season total.
Or surpassed it.
Actually, he surpassed it, yeah, 11 points, and yeah, he would have surpassed it. Knocked away by Peters on the inbounds, and Carroll will try it again.
So 10 minutes to go, tie game. If you're Wheaton, I think you've got to look at Aston Francis. Let's see if he can carry you home here.
Oh, Maupin was open on the screen. The screener there for Carroll never saw him, and they have to inbound out to the half-court line. Pierce leaves it for Kiernan, 13 on the shot clock. High screen, Maupin. Spencer's there off the pick, and a nice hit by Kiernan. But that's only his second basket of the game for a guy averaging 16 points a game. That's the other thing. If you're Carroll, you're saying we're right here in an even game, and our leading scorer hasn't started yet. So both teams kind of in the same position. Eichelberger driving on Zeski. To Francis in the left corner, guarded by Penny. Driving into the lane, gets into the paint, drops it off for Luke Peters. Peters, strong right-handed finish.
Great pass from Francis, draws the defense. He just has a knack about him to find the open man. Wheaton ties it up.
Stay with us, folks. This is going to be a fun finish. Both teams very, very similar. Maupin for 3, no good, and a rebound long to Penny, and that's probably a smart foul from Aston Francis. You're at a point in the game where his third foul does not bother you as much.
And they spread you out. I mean, no box out that time. Unfortunately, those types of mistakes, a young team. Again, remember, Wheaton has no seniors. They have one guy who really played a lot last year in Ricky Samuelson. Luke Peters did play some. On the floor right now, Spencer, a freshman. Mulligan didn't play last year. Eichelberger barely played. So this has been a great year for Wheaton. They've already tied their win total from last year. They're going to far exceed that. And if you can win a game like this for a young team, Rusty, I think it would go a long way.
So that foul already proving beneficial as Penny missed the first, makes the second, and he'll be, actually it's not him who's checking out, it'll be Zeski, who's replaced by Trey Borland. And now Carroll's going to pick up a little bit of full court pressure here.
And smart move, why not?
Just token ball pressure. It's not really anything that Wheaton's going to concern themselves with. Just to slow Wheaton's off the shot clock and take some seconds away. Carroll by 1 as Peters is double teamed in a bad spot, finds an outlet in a Najuan Spencer. Skipped over Mulligan, back to Peters with 12 on the shot clock. Francis wants a post up against Penny. And now he's going to get the ball, and he is submarined by Ray Pierce. That'll be the 4th foul. It's a dangerous play there, but a hustle play nonetheless, certainly not on purpose. They're going to skip into Gunter here on the inbounds, but a fresh 30 where Wheaton was down to about 6 when that play was made. Peters against Pierce, right wing, now Mulligan. Finds Francis at the top of the key. Francis dancing with Nick Penny, and Penny reached, and Francis teach. And that'll be the foul against Nick Penny. 5th team foul. Samuelson comes into the game replacing Mulligan, and the 3rd against Nick Penny. So 3 each on Kiernan and Penny, 3 each on Peters and Francis for the Thunder.
And Coach Shaw recognizes the importance of this possession, bringing Samuelson back, giving his, another great shooter out there with 9 minutes to go.
Peters driving off the inbound, was cut off by Pierce, finds Francis on the back cut. The floater is good with the right hand.
And Wheaton leads again.
This seesaw battle continues through the second half. Alongside Tim Martin, I'm Rusty Lindsay. Thanks for tuning in tonight on WTSN. Kiernan around the high screen, bounced off to Maupin, and he traveled. We haven't had many turnovers tonight. Both teams playing a pretty clean game, but that one goes against the Pioneers, and they will take a timeout here as we look around the CCIW in other action. Augustana has opened up a 10-point lead at North Central. That's a big one. Both teams, again, 2-1 and tied at the top of the conference. And here's the other big one. Carthage has taken a 2-point lead at the Cracker Box at Foster and Kedzie, leading North Park 62-60. So we talked off the air, not sure what Carthage was at 8-3 and 2-1 in the conference. And against the number 10 team in the country on the road, and they're gonna throw some punches if they're gonna go down though.
Yeah, I mean, Bosco obviously knows North Park quite well, the Cracker Box quite well, having coached their multiple national championship teams and assistant for 3 others. But they've got a nice team, and again, no dominant team in the conference. I think anybody can beat anybody else on any given night. That's why if Wheaton can win this, get to 2-1, they're right in the mix there for one of those top 4 spots. Again, North Central without Connor Raridan, that's big.
Milliken with a layup there, and they are within 3 of Illinois Wesleyan down at the Shirk Center in Bloomington with 8 minutes left. And that goes to tell you that any given night, especially when you're coming off a holiday break like all the teams are around the country, where you've had maybe a week where you haven't played games, anything can happen. And Matt Nadelhofer's crew pushing the Titans of Illinois Wesleyan on the road tonight.
Right, Milliken had lost their first 9 games. They've won their last 2, and now look at it. They've got a chance. They want to beat Wesleyan in Bloomington. That's a huge rivalry, and if they do that, they'll totally upend this conference.
So 1-point lead for the Thunder here. They're trying to double team. Peters keeps dribbling away from it, and he finds Aston Francis for the layup.
And that's the advantage of having Luke Peters in the game, steadying the ship at point guard. Great assist there, great unselfish play.
Women's game in Rock Island, Wheaton leading Augustana 56-46 in the third quarter. Francis tried to take a block by Spencer, by Najuan Spencer. Here comes Wheaton, trying to add to a 3-point lead. Their biggest lead of the night is 4.
That's Spencer making a difference on defense. He came from nowhere to help and just saved Wheaton on that possession. They're going to trap the ball screen again.
Samuelson for 3. Got it! A big 3 from Ricky Samuelson, and Wheaton with 5 straight out of the timeout. Timeout, Carroll, with 7:41 left.
Wheaton finding something on offense. They've been trapping the ball screen. Luke keeping his dribble, and then he finds Ricky there in the corner. Big shot for Wheaton. Wheaton +6 here, 7:41 to go.
What a big 3 for Ricky, too, because he's had nothing from distance. It's all come on the back cuts and what you would call the greasy baskets down low. But Slick Rick wide open, and so they've tried to double the ball screen twice now, and both times Luke Peters has been patient and found the open man.
Right, the adjustment Wheaton made, they were setting those screens more in the middle of the court. The one time Luke was over by us here at the table, it was a tough position, he was trapped, but Wheaton's made an adjustment. They're setting the ball screens more in the middle of the court. Luke's got more space to operate, and again, the key thing, Rusty, Luke's on the floor. So if he can stay on the floor this last 7:41, Wheaton is in a great position. If he gets his 4th and he has to come out of this game, that will really impact things. And how about Jay Spencer? Defensively, great help last time. Just those kind of momentum plays, swing things. Aston Francis gets the back cut. This young team growing up before our eyes.
You talked about it. We've seen some lineups that haven't had a whole lot of run together, and they're kind of gelling as we go here. 7:40 to play out of the timeout for Carroll. We'll see what they have drawn up. Peters on the floor. Malagan with the coverage. Kiernan for 3. Got it. Peters couldn't recover in time, and Kiernan hits his first 3 of the night. He's got 7, averaging 16 points a game.
He's the guy down the stretch they're going to look to. We can't lose him.
Here's the switch off the screen. Francis, the answer. Got it! Boy, these two stars for their teams are going to go head-to-head, and if we get a back-and-forth affair between Francis and Kiernan, this could get fun for the final 7 minutes. Wheaton leads by 6, tying their biggest of the night. Zeski against Samuelson, tries to get into the lane, cut off. Ingebrigtsen will post Gunter. The shoulder fake and the finger roll goes for Ingebrigtsen.
And that's okay, Rusty. Let him make a tough shot. Spencer came over to help. It went in. It's only 2 points. You didn't leave a shooter. You didn't give up 3.
Luke Peters dribbles back to the right. Wheaton slowing the game down a little bit here. 6:30 to play, up by 4. Spencer holding on the wing, looking for the back-cutting Samuelson, and we've got a foul away from the ball. They're pointing at Kiernan. If it's him, it's his 4th.
Looks like they called it on
Ben Wittes. They pointed at Kiernan.
Yeah.
And so you wondered, as Anajuan Spencer is replaced by Eichelberger. Inbound comes to Gunter for Wittes. It's his 2nd. The next foul will put both teams at the free throw line. Both teams with 6 team fouls. This is Francis circling to the free throw line against Wittes. Step back, what a shot. Oh, he thought it was going to get the roll at first, but Samuelson the offensive rebound. That just danced tantalizingly on the front of the rim.
Most players couldn't even get that to the rim, such a difficult shot. Francis almost made it, and then Ricky, what an offensive rebound.
Peters off the screen from Gunter, driving, looking for the right-handed floater. It's good for almost said Tyler Luke Peters.
It looked like him, didn't it? What a play from Luke, driving left, finishing with the right hand.
Up 6, inside of 6 to play. Wittes around the screen from Ingebrigtsen. Off shot, balance shot by Kiernan, and a great defensive play by Peters then to clean it up off the, he was guarding the ball and then grabbed the rebound.
Just stayed straight up, didn't give the refs any opportunity to call a foul. Wheaton up 6 here, 5:30 to go.
Peters to Eichelberger, thought about the 3, drives through Penny, and finally the call. So Eichelberger to the line, as I believe that's 4 on Nick Penny. Here we see the replay. The whistle, definitely a foul, but the whistle probably should have came earlier, and that's 4 on Nick Penny.
And that's why Coach Schauer went with the sub. He subbed in Kobe for Spencer to give him another driver on offense like this. Go a little smaller, get quicker. I think Wheaton really likes the matchups they have right now. 1-and-1 here. These are always crucial.
Pierce and Howitt into the game, replacing Penny with the 4 fouls, and Zaski. Malagan waiting to check in, but he's going to have to continue to wait as Eichelberger very short on the first free throw. So the lead remains 6, 5:20 to play here in King Arena. Wittes finds Howitt to Pierce. Pierce now around the screen. Eichelberger staying in front of Pierce, giving him a lot of room. Wittes pulls up from 16, no good. Rebound punched by Pierce and collected by Luke Peters. 5 minutes left, Wheaton by 6. And Aston Francis will come and get the basketball. In a game like this, it can take just a team hitting 2 big shots in a row. That's what Wheaton's done to open it up. And here's Samuelson, the back cut again.
They set that play up, Rusty, perfectly. Great pass from Peters.
Samuelson now with 16. And Carroll's going to take a timeout with 4:37 to play. And Wheaton holding the largest lead of the night by either team at 8. And this will be a 30-second timeout. We talked about, just mentioned it, game like this, a back-and-forth game, it can be really a score, a stop, and a score. That can change the complexion of the game, and that's what you've seen Wheaton do.
I think the sequence, Anajuan Spencer with the block, Wheaton comes down, gets a 3. So from Wheaton was up 3 to up 6, and now they've built that up to 8. And you're seeing why this team is going to be so good. I mean, I'll say this to the other CCW teams. Wheaton's young. You better get Wheaton this year, because in the future years, this team is going to be off the charts. I mean, look at the core right now. Francis, 3 years remaining. Peters, 3 years remaining, including this year. Gunter's a sophomore. Ricky's a junior. Malagan, a sophomore. So young. And Malagan's a freshman. Sorry, he's even younger, Rusty.
This is Kiernan for 3, and that's no good. Would have been a big one for the Pios, but Samuelson, a strong rebound in the paint.
And how about Ricky getting in there, mixing it up, getting some big rebounds on both ends of the floor to go along with his great shooting in the back cuts. Here's some zone.
A different look here. Malagan back up top to Samuelson, and Wheaton happy to get a little deeper into the shot clock right now as Francis will attack. Holy smokes, Francis got it to go! Francis from the volleyball line. Holy smokes. There are shots that he took it and we just had to wait, because you normally say that's probably not going to go. My goodness.
I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen anyone here with this range. I think of Kent Raymond, but I mean, Francis just shoots from so deep effortlessly, and then he gets the shooter's roll. Amazing.
And that puts Wheaton up 11 here with 3.5 to go. Really going to put the pressure on the Pioneers now. Dancing with Wittes. Step back three from the wing. Short, and the rebound by Ingebrigtsen. And you see Mike Schauer head in his hands, but you kind of got to, when he's feeling it, you got to live with some of those shots, because those are, he's going to make a couple just like the one he just made. .305 left here as Wittes thought about the three. Step back on Francis. Now we'll cross over into the lane. Driving right hand, no good. Here's the replay from Aston Francis. He's right. Stepped up. What do you measure that at? 30 feet?
Yeah. And gets the shooter's roll. And yes, and Rusty, you do have to live. He's going to take a lot of shots. He's shooting, 38, 39%, probably up about 40% from three on the year. You know, the next time down, he took another tough shot, missed it, but he's an amazing shooter. And that's probably the biggest reason why this Wheaton team has taken such a big step. When you can add a guy who's at 22 points a game coming in tonight, who didn't play here last year, that's why Wheaton's making this big jump, along with many other factors. Just Coach Schauer talks about the culture of this team, the work ethic of this team, the desire. And you know, when they went out west, lost some games, you could see that affected this young team. Second free throw also good, Wheaton up 9, but they're finding a way to fight. You can see the energy on this team. They're growing, they're into it, and a win like this, I think, Rusty, could really help them moving forward. 1-3-1 full court here from Carroll.
Got to do something to try to turn the ball over, give Wheaton a different look. Samuelson was fortunate to catch it on the defensive half of half court. Driving layup from Francis, had to backhand it. No good, and here come the Pioneers trying to cut into a 9-point lead. 9-point deficit, excuse me. This is Wittes.
Cover the arc.
Pierce has not shown the propensity to shoot from that deep, but Milligan fighting his own teammate to get out to the shooter. Pierce in the lane. Will not get it to go, and Gunter had the rebound poked loose by Pierce. Now Maupin is trapped, but finds the outlet in Zeski.
That's right, a lot of time being used here. Cover the arc, make them make 5-2s to take the lead.
Maupin taking a lot of time here. Kiernan driving into the paint, kick out. Wittes, and Peters quickly with a hand up. Shot clock's down to 13, around the screen. Wittes, left hand, and he gets it to go with 2:05 to play. But you made him use almost a minute to get 2 points and hit a tough shot.
And last time down, Wheaton a little quick, Rusty. Let's use a little more clock here.
71-64 as Peters patiently dribbles it into the front court. Still in the 1-3-1 look are the Pioneers. And Wheaton, like you mentioned, patient here in this set. Peters, kick out. Francis, wide open three left corner. Got it! And a timeout by Mike Schauer as Francis hit what could be the dagger here with 100 seconds left to put the lead back to 10.
We said early in the game, Wheaton is going to be fine if teams want to go zone. You see why right there. Aston Francis finding that little opening in the corner that's usually open against the 1-3-1. Drains the three. Wheaton plus 10, 140 to go. And another nice find from Luke Peters.
Francis now quietly has 21 points. Only had, I believe, 6 in the first half, but you mentioned a 3 from somewhere near Roosevelt Road there for the big one that put him up 11, and another 3 from the corner to put him up 10. Really, those are backbreakers for a team that's trying to hang in there. Just the mental part of seeing a double-digit deficit.
Right, you called it. Carroll was not going to shoot 7 of 11 from 3 in this half. They've come back down to their averages. Aston Francis, your star players make big plays late in games. And that 3, yeah, it's worth 3 points, but even more than that, the energy it brings the team, the fans, they're into this game. You know, the students are in break right now, Rusty, so we don't have the usual student support. We usually get great student support, but these fans that are here are into the game, and they're excited about this young Wheaton team. We all are. And we don't know how far they're going to go this year. They're certainly, if this can be their 6th win on the year, that's fantastic to top last year's win total. And they're going to be very dangerous. There's no team in this league that Wheaton cannot compete against. I mean, against Augustana, they had a late lead. Tough foul call gave Augie the lead again, and then Wheaton had a 3 to win it at Rock Island.
Speaking of Rock Island, the Wheaton women leading by 13. over Augustana in a battle of teams that are both 2-0 in the conference on the women's side. This is Wittes, a driving shot, and Malagan cleans it up. And you're starting to see now some panic from the Pioneers. Francis will dribble it into the front court, lobs ahead to Gunter, back out to Samuelson. You know the double's got to be coming at some point. It does, and he bounces to Francis. Center circle, now dribbling right with 75 seconds left. Tipped pass gathered by Gunter, and a foul against Kiernan. It'll be his 4th, and Gunter will go to the free throw line with 1:11 left in the game.
Yeah, I think Trevor Gunter's had a better second half, Rusty. Been very active, defensively really solid inside. Good job on the glass. Offensively, hasn't tried to do too much, taking care of the basketball. And right here, you make these 2 free throws, you're looking really good.
Howitt and Penny into the game for Pierce and Maupin as Carroll gets their shooters onto the floor. Now you're going to get a Najuan Spencer back in for Gunter. So you got a glass cleaner and a shot alterer if they get to the rim.
So they have the 1 big and really 4 guards surrounding them so they can cover the arc. Big free throw from Trevor makes it. Wheaton 75, Carroll 64. I think right here again, you cover the arc, switch any screens out in the arc, make them make 2s to beat you.
Wheaton now 8 of 11 at the free throw line. Carroll is 13 of 15. And make it 9 of 12. Spencer in, Gunter out with 71 seconds to play. 12-point lead for the Thunder. This game was close until about the 5-minute mark. And then Wheaton with a couple back-to-back threes. All of a sudden this game turned against the Pioneers. Penny, handoff to Wittes. That's an illegal screen. He got away with it. And foul against Najuan Spencer. And I think he stepped on his ankle when he took off as Spencer is down on the ground and slow to get up.
Looks like he's...
Here's the replay. And yeah, he stepped on his foot when he took off and twisted the ankle of Spencer a little bit. Didn't look too bad there on the replay, but of course anytime you see it or it's your ankle, you think differently.
Right. And Spencer, he wants to stay on the court, so this is a good sign.
So Wittes for 2. Shot was blocked by Malagan, so it doesn't matter if it went in. First free throw no good for Wittes, who has missed, I believe, 2 of their only 3 missed free throws tonight. And he makes the second, so Pierce back into the game for defense.
And now some press break for Wheaton. Little different look than we've seen at times, really spreading the court out.
They will get it to Aston Francis in the corner, who holds for the double, and now Peters dribbles away from the double. He's going to be fouled by Pierce. And again, you're in no hurry. You can hold it, take the 5 count of holding the ball, call timeout before you get it. It was a veteran move by Francis to wait for the double, eat up a couple more precious seconds before delivering the ball to Luke Peters. Howitt replaces Pierce as they go offense-defense, and it'll send Peters to the free throw line. Peters on the year shooting 50.8%. This will be his first attempt of the night.
And he's improving here, Rusty. First one, rims out, but he put so much work in. His numbers and percentage are going up, and they will continue to go up.
45 seconds left. Kiernan drives on Samuelson, splits the double. Nice job by Francis just to get out of the way. And the layup cuts it to 9 with 42.2 seconds left. Kiernan now with 9 points, but I think that's where you have to start when you look at how this game has unfolded for the Thunder on the defensive end. You've held a guy to half of his season average in Kiernan, a very talented scorer.
And I think that was their plan from the start. They really focused on him. So some other guys did get some shots, especially in the first half. But I also have to credit Jake Malagan that time on defense. Didn't overhelp. That's always the instinct for basketball players. They want to overhelp on that drive, so they weren't able to kick out and get 3. Wheaton still up 9, 42.2 seconds. I'd love to see Luke get fouled again so we can go back to line and make some more pressure free throws. But just a lot of positives for Wheaton tonight. This is a deep team. They played, I think I've got 11 guys playing for them tonight, Rusty, in a really important home league game.
Carthage leads by 2 with 25 seconds left in that game down at the Cracker Box. We'll try to get you a final of that game because that's a big one. Francis dribbling it all the way down to the corner. Now we'll deliver it to Malagan, back out to Peters, hands it off to Francis. Great job by Wheaton, now holding precious seconds off the clock. Samuelson now holding, and he's just going to wait for the foul if they want to issue it. However, I mean, that's what we talked about. These are the guys that have been on the floor in Samuelson and Peters and Francis, so they know hold it, let the count go 2 or 3 seconds, and Samuelson takes a timeout with 26 seconds left.
one advantage for a team like Wheaton when you've got a player like Aston Francis is late in these games, like you said, Rusty, a veteran. He knows what he's doing. You can get him the ball. So late in games, a lot of times you're not getting points out of your set plays or out of your offense. You're so well scouted, you're getting nothing easy. It comes down to the great players making plays, and that was Aston Francis tonight. So, you know, he's done nothing tonight. This is a first-team All-CCW player. The best newcomer, first-year player we've had in a long time, and he's making great decisions, and it was his big three that I think really broke Carroll's back here.
Devin Kyler might have just put that game away in Rock Island as her three puts Wheaton back up 12 with 1:50 to play. A turnover by Malagan. Wittes will lay it up on the other end with 19 seconds left. Timeout Carroll. It's a 7-point game with 20 seconds left.
Yeah, Coach wanted a foul there. Regardless, you've got to be solid. No freebies here. Smart that Wheaton didn't foul on the other end. They're still +7 here, 19.2 seconds. But you'd like to see him finish this right. Get fouled, make your free throws, because we've got Bloomington looming on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a big game for Wheaton as it puts them at 2-1 in the conference with a win. Illinois Wesleyan's going to get to 2-2 and 10-3 overall. But again, when you look at the way the conference is going to unfold, Wheaton's going to be the team in second place in the conference here at the end of the night, because you've got a two-way tie for the top with what looks like it might be Carthage and Augustana, who's leading at North Central. Francis Holding just going to throw it deep for Malagan, who gets his dispenser. Well, he will wait for the foul.
You know, I like the confidence of Anajuan there holding the ball. I personally would have liked him to pass the ball to Ricky Samuelson. You know, you've got one of the elite shooters in the country. But let's see. Hey, Jay's got 2 threes tonight, and let's see what he can do from the free throw line.
And that'll be the end of the night for Kiernan, who fouls out with 11 points.
And just a spirited effort here from Carroll. I was very impressed. Coming out of the break, sometimes teams are a little bit sluggish. First free throw up and good for Najuan Spencer. But, I mean, it looks like they dressed 20-plus guys over there. Great energy into the game from the start. Played really hard. And this is a nice team and a nice addition to the conference.
2 very confident free throws from Najuan Spencer. The lead's back at 9 with 12 seconds left. Wheaton's going to even its record at 6-6, while Carroll will do the same at 6-6. Wittes will get the layup. It will ultimately be irrelevant, and it'll be a 78-71 winner for the Thunder here in a very entertaining basketball game in King Arena by 2 very, very similar teams.
It is. This is a huge win for a young Wheaton team. They, coming off of a West Coast trip where they lost 2 games, they also lost at Alma. Again, when they left for the winter break at 5-3, we were feeling great about things. They kind of slipped out west, lose 3 in a row, but they come right back at home in conference, get to 2-1 in the league. And this is big. I think this will do a lot for their confidence, a lot for their spirit. When you can play 11 guys and they're all so young and they have such high ceilings, that's the thing, Rusty. These guys have such a huge upside that, you know, the future is really bright for this team, and they've got to feel good about what they did tonight.
This was a game where we kept saying it seems like you're almost playing yourself in a lot of ways. 2 very similarly built teams, very similar styles of play, and the game reflected that until you get a couple big shots down the stretch. Just talk about that second half and your team really making a couple big plays when you really needed it.
Yeah, I was really pleased with our guys. You know, I agree with that. You know, if you look at both personnel and the way, you know, they played great early, just like we had, and had a tough trip to Texas, just like we had a tough trip to Vegas. This is a big game for both of us, obviously bigger for us because it's in this building. Just to kind of get back into conference play, to play well again. You know, I thought we had a really good game. I thought Ricky had a couple huge baskets on some set stuff that we do to try to get him a couple buckets. And I thought, you know, and then I thought Aston's 3, you know, a couple of his threes that really extended the game I thought were pretty important. And obviously you can see why I'm excited about our basketball team, because very few of you have any idea who Jake Malagan is. And I'm going to tell you he's going to be fantastic. And he was great in practice yesterday on the other team from mine. So I got on him in the warm-ups. I'm like, any chance we could see that kid tonight? And we did. He's a really high-volume scorer. and is going to be a really good player here.
Talk a little bit about Ricky's night, because this is not the night we're used to seeing Ricky getting 16 points. Only hits 1 3, and it was a lot of what we called the greasy baskets, the backdoor cuts, a couple second chance buckets, but really like making his own game when the three-pointer wasn't there for him tonight.
Yeah, and a lot of that is, honestly, we've put in a bunch of stuff for both he and Aston that kind of try to take advantage of how much teams have to overplay us because of how good those guys are at shooting the ball. And Ricky's just really good moving out the basketball and realizes that as a guy that shoots the ball at the level he does, to get baskets, he's kind of got to move a little bit. I was really pleased, though, with a lot of our stuff. I told our team if you hold teams to 70, you win about 80% of the time. So I'm going to be one off from that. But I thought we defended after those first 10 minutes where we just did not defend or execute the game plan very well. You know, I thought the last 30 we played very well defensively.
With a young team, you kind of frustrated a little bit after those 3 losses after your last game here. What does this mean, this game and this win in a game like this mean to your team as a rebound from those efforts?
Yeah, you know, I told our guys, listen, we're not going to be an at-large bid team, so we're really 1-1. Everything else doesn't really matter. And I do think we're good enough to fight for a spot in that conference tournament. I don't know that our league has anybody that I would describe as special. We've got a lot of good teams. But we've proven, you know, this is our third conference game, and we've played pretty well in all 3 of them, you know. And actually the schedule is to our favor if we'll take advantage of it, because we have 2 back-to-back road games now, and 4 out of 5 at the start on the road. But then we get to finish at home, and if we can just persevere here on these next couple road games, I kind of like where we are.
Well, Coach, thanks for your time. Congratulations on a good win. Again, a quick look at the box score. 16 points each for Samuelson and Mulligan, 21 for Francis, and 10 for Luke Peters on a very balanced effort. 21 for Ben Wittes and 14 for Nick Penny for Carroll. Both teams now at 6-6. Wheaton at 2-1, and will travel to Bloomington for a doubleheader. The second game of the women's-men's doubleheader on Saturday. That women's game will tip off at 5, followed by the men's game at 7. Our next game back here at King Arena will be a women's game next Wednesday night, I believe also against Carroll, right here with a 7 o'clock tip-off. For Tim Martin, I'm Rusty Lindsay. Thanks again for tuning in tonight. A special thanks to our great production crew with Sunrise Communications. You've been watching the Wheaton men's basketball team on WTSN.